Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my channel and welcome back to my kitchen. It's been a while since I've made anything here and videoed for YouTube. So here we are, and this is kind of the beginning of a new season for me. If you watch my last video, you'll see that I've undergone some health challenges, and in an effort to just make the most of my life going forward and be as healthy as I can be, I've adopted a whole food, plant-based diet. When I posted that video, I had some people message me and comment saying that they'd like to even just have a few meatless meals a week. And so I would love to encourage that and help in any way that I can. Again, I have no agenda. I am not trying to tell anybody else how to eat. I'm just sharing my journey with you. And if it resonates with you, and if there's any part or all of it or none of it, that's okay. I'm hoping that I'm making things that we can all enjoy. So I just wanted to come on and say, first of all, that one of the best ways to approach this is to keep it simple. I tend to dive in head first with both feet and everything. Like, I just go full bore, but that's me. And so it doesn't overwhelm me. It can overwhelm you. If you're trying to make changes and I can't even tell you how many opinions and education, and it's all maybe valid and good, but it can be overwhelming when you start to make a change and watch content that has to do with that. There's so many different levels of plant-based eating. Some people only cut out meat, so they still eat eggs, dairy, fish, all those things, cheese. Some people only eat fish and only plant-based. Some people eat eggs and dairy, but no meat. Other people cut out all animal products. So there's so many different variables, and you need to do you. And you need to do what's easiest for you, and even it may evolve over time. Who knows? You may pitch the whole idea altogether. It's up to you. But I want to keep it simple for you. At the beginning especially, I do make some more tofu dishes and things that are maybe not familiar to everybody, and I will be adding those. But today I just wanted to do a simple oatmeal bake. I go back to work tomorrow after being off on sick leave for 8 weeks, maybe 9. And one of the best ways to have success in any attempt to eat healthy is meal prep. Having things on hand so that, when you're getting ready for work, or you come home tired and you don't feel like cooking, or whatever, you get caught up with something and you're starving and you've got nothing made. That makes it really hard. And those are the moments where I personally have had my biggest challenges and failures, to be honest, in that moment. So today we're doing this oatmeal bake. It's a simple recipe. The only thing that's different as far as being plant-based and vegetarian or whatever, I am using ground flaxseed instead of eggs, and I'm using applesauce instead of the oil that's called for. And you can use oil, you can use eggs if that's where you're at. I personally am not, so this is what I've done today. So we started out today with 2 cups of rolled oats, and I like the large flake rolled oats. I'm running low, although I did find a bag that I have from Costco, so that's always a good thing. The other thing we're adding is 2/3 of a cup of roughly chopped pecans, and I'm going to toast those pecans in the oven first. The oven is already at 375, and so I'm going to toast those pecans first. Then I am going to add 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, a teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 of a teaspoon of salt, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of nutmeg. Now I actually added a lot more. I love nutmeg. And I'm not sure how fresh mine is, so I actually put 3/4 of a teaspoon instead of a quarter. But again, you do you. This recipe will be on my blog, which I will link down below. So then for the wet ingredients, I have 1 3/4 cups of milk of choice. I used soy milk. You use whatever milk you want. And then it called for 1/3 of a cup of maple syrup. I only used 1/4 of a cup. And I used 2 flax eggs. So if you're not using regular eggs, a flax egg is 1 tablespoon of ground flax mixed with 3 tablespoons of water equals 1 egg. Now this time I actually reduced the water a fair amount because I found the last time I made this recipe it was a little wet and I would rather have it more firm. So I put 2 teaspoons per 1 tablespoon of flax meal. And I didn't put the 3 tablespoons of butter that it called for. I used 3 tablespoons of applesauce. So applesauce is a good replacement for oils. It can also be used to replace eggs, as can bananas. Chia seed, flax seed, those are good egg replacements. Another thing that can be used as a replacement for oil is aquafaba, which is the liquid that you drain off a can of chickpeas. And I never knew that that was a thing. But it's apparently good for you, especially if you get no salt canned chickpeas, or I usually make my own and then I keep the aquafaba off of it. And then 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And we're going to mix that all together. I put the dry ingredients separate and then I put the wet ingredients on. Then I add my nuts and about 2 cups of chopped apple. You can also use blueberries, frozen blueberries. You can use frozen mixed berries. I often use those from Costco. So whatever fruit, I just had apples that I had peeled and had already had in the fridge. I used some for a different recipe and I had some left over. So I'm going to do apple today. So it's in the oven and we'll be back when it comes out. So one thing I forgot to mention is that the oven is set at 375 and I have used a 9x9 or 8x8 glass pan. That's about the right size for this recipe. And I usually cut it into 9 pieces. And one of my favorite ways to eat this baked oatmeal is with, I use a homemade yogurt, a dairy-free yogurt that I make from coconut milk. But you can use any yogurt, especially like a Greek yogurt would be really good. My coconut yogurt is very thick. It's almost like ice cream and it's really yummy. So I really like it on top of this oatmeal bake. You know, in the morning, if I'm not eating it fresh out of the oven, I'll just pop it in the microwave for like 30 seconds just to take the chill off, because I do store it in the fridge just because I, you know, don't want it going bad, and I only eat 1 piece a day. And although Glenn started to like it, so he didn't really even try it before, and now when he did, he really liked it. So I may not have it as long as I have been typically. Anyway, yeah, so there's a simple recipe for a morning breakfast or a lunch, or it can be a dessert. Yeah, so I hope you try it. Let me know down below if you try it. Let me know any other things that you would like me to make that you're wondering how it would be able to be converted. I would also encourage you, like if you're wanting to do some meatless meals, whether it's once a week, once a month, whatever, or just, you know, occasionally, start with things that you already make. Things like chili, lasagna, pasta dishes, rice dishes, and just don't put the meat in. And especially if you're still eating eggs and cheese and dairy, it's going to be much easier for you. It's much less restrictive and you're still not eating meat. And yeah, you can make that work for you. And it's a good way to start. And then, as I said, you know, as you go on, if you want to keep exploring further, there's so much information on the internet. There's so many YouTube people that I've learned so much from. We actually have one right in Toronto that I know of. I know there's more, but the one that I really like is PB with J. It's plant-based with Jeremy is what it stands for. And he and his family, what drew me to his channel is that he critiques a lot of cookbooks, and they're not all, you know, whole food plant-based. Some of them are vegetarian, some of them are vegan. So what I really liked was that he would cook for a week from this cookbook for his family. It's a real family. They're not, you know, the wife's a teacher, they have 2 teenage children. They show the recipes, they share how they feel about them, whether they liked it, didn't like it, would have it again, not again, whatever. And so it really helps because, you know, when you're just starting to look at cookbooks and stuff, I've been disappointed a lot of times, and cookbooks aren't cheap. So when I buy one and I think it's going to be really good and I open it up and it's pretty much what I already know or have already seen in other cookbooks, it's disappointing. So I love the fact that you're getting a bit of a review and they've actually made the recipes on camera and tasted them on camera. So you're getting a really good idea of whether you maybe should or shouldn't buy it. A lot of people rent them from the libraries, like they borrow them from the libraries. So yeah, so anyway, there's a lot of information out there. You do you just don't be pressured by anybody. Do what's best for you, what you feel comfortable with, and don't be overwhelmed. Keep it simple. And like I said, you can take a lot of the things you already make and just remove the meat. And then if you want to go further, there's substitutes for the other things that are in some of these recipes. Hope you guys have a good day. Hope you enjoyed the recipe. Again, if you make it, let me know down below. Any comments, any ideas, hit me below. Talk to you later, guys. Oh, good. My husband's home. He can clean up the kitchen.